Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about barefoot shoes, foot health, why you should be into it, why you should care, and I don't know. Welcome to the next video. Can you see that I got my couch? I like my couch. I moved one of my plants, Bobby Brown over there. I'm going to talk a little bit about barefoot shoes, minimalist footwear, and how I got into it and why you should care. I think I got into it because I was looking into minimalist apparel. There was a moment in time where all I really did was wear black and tech wear, so pants that had multiple pockets angled in correct ways. I highly recommend looking into technical apparel. It's designed for specific body types versus clothes that are built for a massive amount of people, which generalize how body types are. Go figure, right? Shopping for your body type would result in a better time. So then I got into the whole barefoot shoe thing, and I remember when barefoot shoes used to look like this, and no one ever really wanted to wear them. But now barefoot shoes look like this, and they're kind of just really nice. So I did a bunch of research on what it entails and what it meant to wear a barefoot shoe. And let me go ahead and say this. Something you're going to learn about me as I'm about to say this is I'm definitely a type of person who just goes headfirst into something, because I was reading about barefoot shoes and all the advice, all the internet said, transition, buy a transition shoe, wear them once a week. I was like, forget that, let's just go all in. And so I bought a pair of cheap ones on Amazon, and it wasn't really, they were barefoot-ish, I would say. So honestly kind of probably worked a little bit as a transition shoe, but I don't think they were designed as a transition shoe. And so I was like, I'm just gonna walk Ellie all the time in these shoes. I need to get my calves strong, my ankles, my feet, my foot strength, and we'll get all into this later. And I remember my calves were just killing me. And I remember just saying to myself, your muscles are growing, your muscles are regrowing, just power through it. And I did, and then I found much nicer barefoot shoes. And the company that I would recommend you check out is called Vivo Barefoot. Man, just please tell them I sent you, or Vivo, please. I own 6 or 7 pairs of your shoes. Give me all of them. I will advertise all of them. Let's do it, Vivo. The reason why you would transition to barefoot shoes is for, well, so, okay, let's start this story with the health impact of the shoes that you're probably currently wearing throughout your day. The shoes that you're wearing, so let's go with the most popular shoes ever, which I'm probably sure are Vans and Converse, or like a boot. Vans have a 1.5-inch sole of rubber or something. I don't know what shoes are made of, but that inch separates you from the ground and provides cushion for your foot. Well, your foot doesn't need cushion. Your foot has been designed over the last, I have no idea how many years. Your feet, let's look into it. What did I say? How old is the human foot? All right, so the human foot is about 7 million years old, and so for 7 million years, we have never had foot support. If you look at early hominid shoes, they're just leather skin with like plant reeds tied around so it's secured to the foot, and that's it. Not much going on there. So with that, your foot has been designed to be flat on the ground, not insulated by an inch of rubber. And what happens when you insulate your foot with an inch of rubber or arch support or any of these things, you're basically asking your foot to stop doing its job, because you'll support it with this stupid shoe that you're wearing. If you look into how soles in shoes started, I don't quote me on this, but I want to say it might have been Nike trying to design a shoe that would help people run faster. That's awesome and great if your goal is to run faster, but I can guarantee you that that's 0.5% of people out there who want to run faster. Everyone else does not need support in their foot. Now, maybe medical conditions, whatever. When you support your foot like that, and may I remind you that 1/3 of your bones are in your foot, so there's a lot of complex machinery that's going on there. I mean, look how many weird angles your feet can make. It's a pretty cool design. When you support the foot, you are not allowing the foot to move in a natural way. And what this does is create all sorts of problems. A lot of shoes also are designed with this type of small toe box that'll start to crunch up your toes. And this is what causes stuff like, I know it said bunions. I don't even know what bunions are, but it is a problem that I guess people have. Plantar fasciitis, don't know what that is, and reduced mobility. That's what we're looking for today, is what we're going to focus on today, is the reduced mobility. Tell me if this looks like a normal way that your foot should be versus something more like this. You do not want your feet crunched up. It realigns the bones in your feet, and when the bones in your feet get realigned, it changes how your muscles and bones react to the support, i.e. your ankle, your calf, all the way up to your low back, your mid back, and your neck. If all of these things aren't balanced naturally or holistically, then you will get bunions and plantar fasciitis. No one wants plantar fasciitis. No one wants that. When I transitioned, I noticed that all these muscles were sore and they were regrowing. They were realigning with their natural skeleton muscle layout. I got addicted to it because once my foot fully transitioned, I just felt better. I don't know. These things are always so weird in how to describe a personal experience with something that is very minute in its feeling when its benefits are over time. So fast forward to when I buy Vivo Barefoots and super nice shoes, I really started to like the fact that when I would go on a walk, I could feel a crack in the sidewalk on my foot. And what this does a couple things other than some of the natural alignment that we already talked about. It provides feedback to your brain. Your brain obviously knows that you're out for a walk because it's putting one foot in front of the other and you have like outdoor stimulus. But now your brain has neural interfaces with the cracks on the ground, the rocks on the ground, the unlevel of like some sort of hill or something. I didn't bother to do research on this one, but it sounds to me that if my brain has more neural inputs from my vestibulars, I feel like it would create a better neural pathway between my brain and my foot. And how big is that neural pathway? That goes all the way from here, all the way up into the top. And if there are more neural circuits that are going from my foot to my brain, I gotta say, it sounds like there's a little bit of brain health that's going on there. And this is all about brain health and physical health, and which would lead into our spiritual health. Modern shoes with narrow toe boxes and elevated heels can negatively affect your foot health by altering the natural shape and function of the feet. They often compress toes and restrict natural movement. Now, I don't know about you, but if 1/3 of my bones are in my feet, it doesn't sound like I want to be restricting and compressing that. And I know that's a thing in ancient Chinese culture, but it's not ancient China anymore. I think we can afford ourselves to live with a more healthier foot. If you wear shoes with a raised heel, you're shortening your calf muscle because your calf muscle doesn't have to extend all the way down to the ground. You're meeting it halfway, or not halfway, but you know what I mean. And that also doesn't sound good. Like a lot of these, I'm not a fucking scientist, so I don't really know how to utilize proper terms and words with the feet. I don't know how to utilize proper terms with your in regards to your feet, bones and calf muscles and all that. I'm just here to tell you that the shoes that you're wearing are not good for the blood flow, muscles, proper alignment, standing correctly, walking correctly. And after a course of a decade, let's just use a small sample size, 5 to 10 years, your body is going to start altering itself around what it is that you're standing on because you're standing on it. All of this is to say, that the modern shoes that are sold to us are killing us. It's giving you gout, it's giving you lower back pain, it's making it to where you don't have as long as a life on your feet. And I would even go as far as to say that it may or may not help against neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. And I say that because I feel as if your brain is getting more neural feedback from more parts of your body, that your brain will undergo neurogenesis more often than someone who is supporting their foot, having a raised heel, closing off the blood flow to all of your toes. Just doesn't sound good. And a lot of this I like to just think of very practically, so I won't get into the weeds of the science. And if you want a video like that, ask for one. We can do that. But a lot of this, I like to think of just practical advice. I use my brain, self-reflect. Does this feel better? Does this feel worse? And so after maybe, let's say, a year or two of wearing shoes like this, when the occasion would arise, I would wear one of these modern shoes. And I promise you, after 30 minutes or an hour of wearing them, my feet would just be screaming. My calves would hurt. And even I have these cloud foam sandals that I gave to my sister because I can't deal with them. Because even wearing them for 30 minutes a day, after 3 days or so, my calves were sore for a whole week because they were so used to doing all the work, and now they weren't. And it's a very interesting feeling. I would really encourage you to at least get to that point. Get to the point where you've transitioned to barefoot shoes, whether you go all in or you wait and do it very slowly, which I would probably recommend unless you're hedonistic like me. And then go back to your normal shoe. And I think when you feel that transition back to the normal shoe, you'll feel how much your foot and legs aren't working anymore. And that pain is different than the pain that's transitioning. When you're transitioning to barefoot shoes, the pain is very much like I ran 5 miles and I haven't run ever and I'm very sore. You can feel that your body is in pain, but it's growing through something. We grow through what we go through. But when you go back to the modern shoes, that pain feels incredibly uncomfortable. It was annoying and just not where I wanted to be with my foot. And I've chosen to go all in. Like I said, I have a couple pairs of Vivo Barefoots, and I think you should today. So this is one of my favorites. I think this is probably the first one I bought because it was very casual looking. It doesn't look ridiculous. And the cool thing about these is what I was telling you earlier. They bend. So if I step on something that makes my foot have to do this, this doesn't impede any natural ability of my foot doing that. Or they even bend this way. So if my foot fell in between a log or something, I'm like totally going to destroy these as I'm doing this. But you see, they're extremely flexible. They go with my foot. And if you ever watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, they're totally that guy's shoes, the spray-on shoes that just did everything and went everywhere with him. That's how I feel when I wear Vivo Barefoots. It almost doesn't even feel like I'm wearing a shoe. It feels like I'm wearing a very advanced sock. That's how I'd like to put that. So we've talked about the problems with modern shoes. I've never had plantar fasciitis or bunions, but I would recommend that if you do have bunions, because I think bunions is just when you get like an icky thing right here because your big toes like collapsing over your toes. Well, another thing with these is my toes have full range of motion in here. I can do this with my toes inside the shoe instead of them being crunched up like this. My foot remains to have a more natural look. Boom. Health. Some practical advice, which is just transitioning to a more functional shoe with a wider toe box, a flat sole, and minimal cushioning to support a natural foot function. And these are all to say if you want to improve your foot health, your skeletal health with a simple change. If you don't want to do that, go ahead and keep wearing your Vans. They might be in style for a couple more years. I genuinely think once this catches on, no one will really want to wear shoes like that. Because it's something super simple that you can do to improve your foot health and your overall mood. I mean, I genuinely like walking in them. Come on, who doesn't want to be closer to Mother Earth? All in all, this is to say, I enjoy wearing barefoot shoes, and I have noticed an overall impact on my health, whether it be mental, physical, or spiritual. And I'm just trying to share my experience with these shoes to you so that you can go ahead and maybe not even transition, but maybe do the research on your own. Vivo Barefoot has a really good video that I can link down in the description below called Shoespriracy. I feel like this may or may not have been what I originally saw that got me into it, but I wasn't sold. But yeah. Do your own research, watch the video in the description. It gives you more of the science about what I'm saying. I just wanted to give you my experience, my practical knowledge about it, my practical experience about it, just so there wasn't any marketing fluff and you don't feel as if I'm trying to convince you to buy something. I'm encouraging you to think more deeply about your foot health when it's not something that people tell you to think about. It's not something that maybe you would think about because Vans are so popular. They're wearing Converse. I'll go buy white Converse with my blue jeans. It'll look good. I would highly encourage you to think more about the things that you decide to put on your feet. It's a great way to stay in shape. So if I could leave you with something today, would be to go ahead and do the research for yourself. Look into it. Consider maybe for 1 second that all of the shoe companies in the world don't have it correct. That they are simply following a pattern of making a more insulated and more heel raising and supportive shoe than ever before. Maybe, just maybe, we don't actually need that much support in our foot. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!